Let's get right to it here at the campus store. Devon Dampier, my friend, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Man, it's good to see you.
Man, I'm happy to be here.
I'm not going to lie, I was sad to not see you on the field on Saturday night, but ultimately it worked out. How are you feeling right now? How's the leg? How's the body? How's the health?
Really good. I'm happy, my team performed the way they did, both sides especially, but offense obviously, Bird handled the situation great. They allowed me to, have an extra couple of days of, recovery, and, now I feel better.
We were told it was truly a game-time decision on Saturday night. How close did you feel you were, able to go? When did you make the decision that if you were going to be asked, and I know you were, like, hey, it might be in the best interest of everybody if Bird takes this one?
Yeah, I was still available to play. Truly, I still could have got in that game if it was needed. But, again, we had a lot of confidence in Bird. He practiced well during that whole entire week. And, the freshman was going to go out there and, do what he did.
He had a great game. The offensive line had there's nobody who didn't have a great game, right? So take me inside the locker room, take me inside the program right now. With a big bounce-back victory like that, washes the bad taste of the BYU loss out of everyone's mouth and puts you guys right back in the hunt for the things that you hope you can achieve this season.
Yeah, I said it before. We lost to Texas Tech, and we bounced back every single time. So it was nothing new to us. We know how to move on from games, and, we know how to go back out there and play U football. So we know that, the championship is still in play for us, and, we know we got to win out.
I was talking to coaches. I was talking to other players, and, it's hard to really, I guess, put into words how difficult a bounce back like that can be because these losses, they are emotional. You guys put in so much work, and everyone starts talking their noise, myself included. And you got to tune it all out. Coaches tell me, well, it's the leadership on this team. It's the locker room itself that allows for these bounce backs to happen. I mean, I've been watching Utah football for a long, long time. I don't remember it happening exactly like this in any season where when a team does stub its toe, the immediate response, a West Virginia game, and in this case a Colorado game, is like the most impressive performance of the year. So you tell me in your words, like, what is the key to that bounce back? How have you been able to achieve that as a team?
Yeah, again, our leaders, our captains, we are the ones who get looked at first. So it's big for us to, again, the team's looking at us. We got to be able to move on from those games. They definitely sting. They hurt. We talk about it. We learn from it. And then, it's on to the next week. We get another game every Saturday. So got to look forward to that one and get the job done.
What was it like for you watching instead of being out there, orchestrating this bounce back and being the one that on the second play of the game is taking it all the way to the house? I know you're a good teammate, but I also know you're a competitor, so it probably wasn't your favorite thing just sitting there watching.
Yeah, no, it was a little hard for me. That was probably the first game I've ever missed just in my college career, so it was a little different. But just, again, I know I was the leader of this team, and just every time the offense came to the sideline, I'm making sure I'm talking to everyone, making sure the vibes are still good and all that. But
we've talked about it, right? The relationship you have with Bird, it's been good all year long. And in this game, in the post game, Scott Mitchell and Bill Riley and Sly were talking to him, and they kind of asked him, all right, how did you know? When did you know? And one of the things he highlighted was that you came up to him and you kind of passed the baton, so to speak, for the week and said, hey, you go do this. This team trusts you. So is it big brother, little brother right now? Is it best friends? What is the relationship with you and Bird after now he's got a successful start under his belt?
Yeah, we're not too many years apart, so big brother, little brother might be. But, I'm probably definitely the leader out of the room for sure. But, just as much as he looks up to me, I look up to him too, just the way he carries himself and, how happy he is just every day. The whole team feeds off both our energies during practices and things like that. So, I'm happy he was well prepared when I told him take this week serious because, it might be your time. And he was all ready for it.
422 yards of rushing at halftime. Colorado was in the negative. I mean, that's like Madden performance. That's like you playing on easy. That's like NCAA football dynasty mode, and you've created all the players, right? I mean, that was as dominant a performance as I can remember from a Utah offense as you're game planning? Because I know you were practicing during the week. As you were game planning and you were watching the film and you were preparing, did you have a sense that it could go that way against Colorado?
Yeah, we got full confidence in our team and the way we've been running the ball all year. So, we didn't expect nothing different to go in this game and showcase that well. In our O-line, they had a little, disrespect towards them before the game. However, they wanted to take that, and, they took it the right way. We definitely showed that in the trenches. We went up front, and again, that makes our playmakers have the best possibility of scoring the ball.
Okay, so what's the right balance? Because I know that there's an effort to kind of tune out the noise. And if there is disrespect, to just ignore whatever. But then it can be a motivator too, right? So, how do you find the balance of just ignoring what fan bases, opposing fan bases, your own fan base, idiots on the radio, ignoring that kind of stuff, but also being like, oh, okay, I'm going to pay attention to that particular point. I'm going to write it on the bulletin board, and I'm going to let it be something that motivates me.
Yeah, no, it's something you let it motivates you energy-wise. The way we play football here at Utah, we play really good football here. So just keep that going, but also turn up the juice a little bit and let them feel you a little bit. So that's kind of how we took it.
All right, I want to talk about the Cincinnati matchup, but I don't want to ignore what's going on here at the Red Zone store. This is such a foreign thing because, I played in the dark ages when nobody had NIL deals, when they couldn't put names on the back of jerseys. If you knew whose number was on the mannequin, but you were just like, don't put the name on there because then you got to pay a player or whatever. You don't, not just Devon Dampier jerseys and shirts and hoodies, but you got your own graphics here. We're working with this Spider-Man theme. Tell me how this came about.
My agents, they did a good job. They got reached out to, and especially NIL, the store. They had some pretty cool ideas. They presented it to me, and man, I was like, let's go with it. That's pretty sick to, have that, and just the amount of people I see at the games, with just being able to wear that merch, it means a lot to me, honestly. Especially, my parents were just telling me every time they come to the game, they're catching someone at the airport wearing something. So, that's pretty cool as a community to know they're behind me.
Whose jersey were you wearing when you were coming up? You're 10-year-old Devon, right? You're going out to play football with your boys or whatever. Whose jerseys were you wearing? Because we've learned this about you. You're a fan of players probably even more than you're a fan of teams. So,
yeah.
So when you were taking, you're going to the store with mom and dad, you're like, hey, let me get that number 4 with the Spider-Man webbing on it. Who was that for you?
I had a Brett Favre jersey, to be honest.
Brett Favre?
Yeah, Brett Favre. That's where
Man, you surprise me every time I ask you about what's your favorite sport besides football? Soccer. Who's the guy's jersey?
All around.
Brett Favre. Okay. It's not what I would have expected, but I love it.
Yeah, the Brett Favre jersey, that stuck with me, though, for a pretty long time. Had the
Brett Favre Packers, right?
Yeah, I had the
Brett
Packers.
Favre Vikings or Jets.
My parents are big Vikings fans, so it was a little crazy that I had the Packers one on.
You do have those Minnesota roots. Did that was that like an act of defiance wearing Packers gear around? Were people giving you hate at school for stuff like that?
Well, I was there for a little bit, but one of my cousins is a huge Packer fan, so when the game happens, it's always the family's a little bit on one side or the other.
Is that why you wear 4?
That isn't exactly why I wear 4, but he's a great person I was able to look up to and be like, I can represent 4 probably.
Okay, all right. Devon Dampier is our guest here on the Sean O'Connell Show. Happy to have him at the Utah Red Zone. The new Devon Dampier merch is released, is out, is available. Man, you've got the Spider-Man theme going. Probably incorrectly, we've taken some credit for the Spidey Sense stuff, because we were talking about that in our first conversation. The NIL company, you've really leaned into this. It works.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's very me.
Are
Devon.
you a fan of the comic books? Are you a fan of the Spider-Man movies?
Yeah, I'm a big movie guy. I gotta get in the comic books though. So many people say the books are better, and it's like, all right, I gotta get that time.
When I was a kid, we were very into comic books. X-Men was my thing. My brother and I had the subscription. They send it to your house every month. That was 30 years ago, and now there's so many different titles. There's so many spin-off stories. I couldn't even follow all of it. So
yeah, there's a lot.
Good luck getting into it now.
I have my time when I retire. Just kick up, really get out all the information I need.
We don't want to talk about retirement yet. Not with Devon Dampier, QB number 1. So, what's the practice been like so far this week? You said you were available to go last week if you had been needed. I imagine you get extra treatment, extra rest over the weekend. And we've had this conversation twice now. Do you feel like you're back towards 100%?
Yeah, I've definitely gotten healthier. I've taken majority of the reps also, and Bird's also getting those reps too. Just in case worst comes to worst for me. But we're handling the situation very well. I feel very confident going into this weekend. So, yeah.
How much of the playbook do you feel like you need to be able to run to where you can look your offensive line, you can look your coaches, you can look your teammates in the face and say, like, no, I'm 100%, I'm good. You need to start me in this game, because obviously your ability to move is a big part of what makes you a great quarterback, right? So probably even more so than some other guys in the conference and in the country, you got to be healthier than some guys, right? So how much of the playbook has to be available to you for you to feel like in good conscience you're doing the best thing, not just for yourself but for your team?
Basically almost all of it, to be honest. Again, we've shown we're a very rushing team, and we can also pass the ball as well. But running the ball is something we do very well. So for me to be able to do that, I think that gives our offense the best chance of winning games.
Dishin with Devon Dampier is our guest here on the Sean O'Connell Show, brought to you by Culligan Water of Salt Lake City. Taste the Culligan difference. ARUP Blood Services, give local, save local, America First Credit Union, hooking you up with a conversation with QB1 every week. All right, so Colorado's in the rear view. A game like that, just like a loss, you can only think about it for 24 hours, and you got to flush even a great performance, and you got to move on. Now you've got Cincinnati, a really good team, a top 25 team, one of the most prolific offenses in the conference and in the country right now, one of the most efficient quarterbacks in college football on the opposite side of things. What are you seeing? I know you watch the defensive film a lot more, but what are you seeing from Cincinnati, and how can you attack them?
Yeah, a great team all around. There's a reason why they're ranked again, and it's a very competitive Big 12 conference. So, I think they're one of those teams, obviously we've played ranked teams before, and, they match up just as well with them. So, just another test for us to, prove ourselves again.
When you look at their defensive line in particular, they got the Corleone kid who's thought of as an NFL prospect at least. They've done a really good job of kind of leaning into the freak athletes on their team. They've got a bunch of guys that are, I wouldn't say depth is their strength, but they got a bunch of guys with crazy speed, crazy measurables. Is anyone popping out to you when you watch that film?
Yeah, I guess I couldn't say one in particular, but I will say, up front, I do think they do a great job, with what they do. Especially, I'm a big on formation and, how they play us and things like that. So, X's and O's wise, they do some things that are a little challenging for, the offense to work around. And, again, when you have the athletes to be at that spot and do what they do, they have a talented group as well. So, you put that together, we're going to have to put our best foot forward to have a great outcome.
When you we talked about this last week as well, when you have a guy or a couple of guys that at this point in the season, you're now more than halfway through, and, some of these young individuals, Buchanan, Bray, as we talked about a lot, really starting to come into their own, adding another wrinkle to an offense that you're very comfortable in. You know this whole playbook. You ran this thing last year. Now you've got a couple extra weapons at your disposal as these guys kind of really grow into their college football bodies, their college football confidence, things like that. How much does that add to this offense? Because if you're Cincinnati and you're watching the film, you have a couple of weeks where you can say, oh, man, this Bray kid, they're actually going to use this guy. But it's not like they've got a full season of it, so you could still surprise some teams with stuff like that. Yeah,
for sure, especially, the way, those young guys been stepping up recently too. Yeah, I mean, we're a very wide open offense. Again, that's why, I need to be at being able to run 100% of the offense because, we do so many things in so many different ways. So, when our players are able to do those things at a very high level, just puts a lot more stress on the defense.
As we talk about the new talents that are emerging, one thing that is a staple of what you guys are doing, and we expect it to be a staple of what you're doing, is that offensive line. They've done a good job of protecting you for the most part this year. They did a phenomenal job against Colorado of opening up the holes. I know you don't speak for all of them, but how is that offensive line doing, feeling? How healthy is that group? And do you feel like they're in the right spot?
Yeah, I love those boys. I'm around them all the time. They set a goal at the beginning. They wanted to win the Joe Moore. That's just something, that they've wanted since the beginning. So I think they're doing a great job at it. They let me know every game. They love me. They're going to protect me, put their bodies on the line for me. Again, no one's ever 100% healthy in football. That's just how the sport works at this point. But the fact, if you watch them boys, you can't even see it. They're real troopers. I love those guys.
By the way, that offensive line, that Joe Moore Award, awarded every year to the best offensive line in football. Jeff Schwartz, who's a weekly guest on the show, is part of that voting committee. And I ask him all the time, is Utah still in the running for that award? And one of the things that's really interesting in college football this year, and with offensive line play in particular, is he told us on the show yesterday, he said there's not one offensive line that's been great and dominant in every game. So that award is still very much up for grabs. You can tell him that, I guess.
Yeah, they're going to take that personal. Don't worry. They're going to step up, watch.
All right, we have to talk about another dynamic in this game. We've got College Game Day on campus. ESPN rolling out the big red carpet, right? McAfee show is going to be broadcast from town. You've got a WWE event this weekend. I mean, there's several different spotlights being put on this game. For Utah fans, that should be all cause for celebration. Hey, let's go. This is so much fun. But people are starting to get superstitious because in the recent trend has been that these big games, these spotlight games, have not worked out for the University of Utah. How should we think about that? How should we handle that as a fan base, as observers? Because, big noon kickoff, BYU game, big noon kickoff, Texas Tech game, and now people are nervous that College Game Day is going to be on this one. How are you processing it?
Yeah, I'm not superstitious at all. I go about my day the same. Everything, if anything changes, I'm not too big on it. But, I think it's great for us at just being at Utah. I think the fans should handle it great. I mean, honestly, the amount of attention that we've gotten this year and just the way we're handling it as a community, as a team, I think we've been well at it. So this is just another week for, our fans to be able to show, what Utah's about and to have that attention again. So, we're going to be locked in. We're going to be dialed in again.
Did you watch Game Day coming up? Like, was this a part of your Saturdays as a kid, as a, middle schooler, as a high schooler? Were you watching College Game Day?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, who don't watch it before all them games come on? It's definitely something that everyone's tuned into.
So is it still surreal for you in any way that, like it already happened on the big noon kickoff? Like they were talking about you all the time. You're going to have Kirk Herbstreit and those guys breaking you down. There's going to be Devon Dampier highlight packages on a show that you came up watching. Is that strange for you? Does your family, screenshot you and all look at Dev? Like, how do you react to it, and how does the people around you react to it?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on in my life right now. So, everything's just blurring across my face right now. But, definitely when I get time to just be about myself and think about it and just think about where I'm at right now and how blessed in the situation I'm in, it is pretty crazy. But, I'm very happy to be here and, just keep going.
Young athletes are dreamers, right? Especially quarterback types. I'm sure you visualized in your mind the game-winning drives, the touchdown passes, all that kind of stuff. Did young Dev ever imagine that being featured on Game Day, on Big Noon Kickoff, having your own damn merchandise that people are lining up to buy, like the Spider-Man theme? Like, in your wildest, I'm talking young Dev imagination, did you think this was going to be part of your life?
On a serious level, everything's always in question, but, as a little kid, you're always, well, especially with my brother, we're always doing the last second,
Sure.
running around, 3, 2, 1, I'm throwing the ball and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, as I got older and just realized, I'm getting closer to my goals. Yeah, I'm really happy about my journey and where I'm at now, especially here. I feel like, this is all I could ask for out of a college experience, and I'm glad to be a Ute.
What's the possibility that we see you and Bird on the field at the same time a lot of times against Cincinnati?
It's very possible. Bird's a heck of an athlete, and so am I. So, I think our skill sets, we're very alike. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I know Coach Beck likes that when we saw it when when Bird was starting, but in the spot duty, a lot of those plays you're still on the field, motion out, split out, whatever, so that a defense doesn't know what's going to happen. Is that something that was part of the offense at New Mexico, or is that just because now you got two guys that you could use that are effectively interchangeable?
Yeah, we did something like that a little bit at New Mexico, but yeah, Bird's one of those guys. You probably want the ball in his hands at some point during the game because he's going to make a big play for you, rather with his legs or his arms. So yeah, it's pretty scary.
I should have asked this before when we were talking about Colorado, but one of my favorite things about that game was that we saw in the fourth quarter especially, we saw a bunch of people on the field that are probably not getting on the field for the rest of the year, that hadn't been on the field yet previous to that, right? You go down deep in the depth chart, third-string defense, you get the backup offensive line in there and stuff like that, and you get to see some of those guys have big moments, make big plays, have success. Those are team chemistry building moments when little brother gets to be on the field and the guy has been grinding and working and busting his ass in the weight room, he gets his moment in the sun. Was there a player or a couple of players in particular that you got to see kind of have that moment against Colorado that everybody was hyped about? I mean, the starters, I was down there on the sideline, the starters were going nuts for everything, supporting their guys. But were there any players that you were just like, finally he gets to feel what it's like to do the Devon Dampier thing where I'm scoring touchdowns or whatever?
I think Nate Johnson definitely, stands out in that group for sure. Someone that was waiting for his opportunity to come back up and, again, he got in that end zone. He's been here before at Utah before, he transferred and came back. And just a lot of those guys knew Nate before, too. So a lot of our guys were happy to see him get that touchdown. And, it honestly, with that opportunity at the end of the games, that is your shot to, get back in the scheme and what we're doing. And, I think, he pretty much earned that.
By the way, if you didn't watch that live because you were already getting to the parking lot and trying to beat traffic or whatever, go find the highlight of that Nate Johnson scoring play because it was one of those football plays that even the most uneducated eye, you could see was going to be a touchdown. Like the whole open, it was like Moses parting the Red Sea. There was no tackler within 1,000 yards, and Nate Johnson obviously has the wheels. You just saw that thing open up. It was like, oh,
yeah,
that's going to the house.
Yeah, he's
gone.
Good
night, goodbye. That's one that made it look easy.
Yeah, that was good all around. Again, even our O-line that was out there to see them, make the holes that they were making during that time. Huge kudos to them as well.
All right, now to the most important part of our conversation. Halloween this week. Where do you stand on Halloween? Are you a dress up, take it real seriously kind of guy? Are you I went trick-or-treating for 4 hours and filled up a whole pillowcase full of candy? Give me the Devon Dampier Halloween treatment.
Growing up, I was huge on candy. I used to hit the big neighborhoods. Everything was king size, no matter what door you're at.
Everybody, all of you people out there, all of you lawyers, doctors, business owners, I just want you to know that Halloween is the time when you are most appreciated by society because every kid from every state knows where the rich neighborhoods are. And they get dropped off, and they go get those king-size candy bars.
They go get them.
It's the best thing ever.
Yeah, I think the way I used to trick-or-treat, I used to have candy for like a month. Yeah, I used to be crazy back in.
And now, like if someone,
now it's a little more. It's now I'm on the treater side. I give the treats out.
You hand out
yeah,
candy.
I've done it a couple times.
Okay. Do you dress up? Do you still like? Because I'll be honest, I got little kids, right? So Halloween is fun for kids. I love. like regular adult me without kids, I'm not dressing up. I don't care about Halloween at all. You're kind of in that phase of life where you get to decide, do I still care about Halloween or not? Like if someone says, hey, Dev, dress up as Spider-Man, are you doing it?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
I might dress up as Spider-Man, not on Halloween.
That's kind of weird.
But I mean, it is college though. College Halloween weekend is definitely a thing. We got a game this week, so it has nothing to do with me. But
so how's that going to work for members of the team? You guys, Friday night you can't go to Halloween parties.
Yeah, we're excluded.
You can't go trick or treating. Saturday it's a night game, so I mean everyone's going to be in their costumes at Rice Cycle Stadium. I guess you guys don't get to enjoy Halloween this year.
Yeah, see, we got to win, so Sunday will be great for people who want to still make that. So, got to get it done on the field first.
Save some trick-or-treat candy for Devin and for the rest of this Utah football team because they don't get to trick-or-treat. They don't get to go to the Halloween parties. But we're hoping for a big win against Cincinnati. Dev, it's always great catching up with you. Congrats on all this new stuff you got going on. Anything else behind the scenes that we don't know about yet? Or like you working on a movie or a documentary or anything like that you want to tease?
No, I ain't got nothing going on. It's pretty crazy right now.
All right. Come to the Utah Red Zone. So we're on campus. We're going to have players and athletes from the department coming through all show long. Devon Dampier, the new merch drop. You got to check these out. The number 4 jersey with the spider web. You got the Devon Dampier as Spider-Man hoodies out. The crew necks as well. We got more players coming. We got a lot going on. That's Dishin with Dev, brought to you by ARUP Blood Services. Give local, save local. Who else are we? The America First Credit Union, obviously. Culligan Water of Salt Lake City. Taste the Culligan difference. Dev, good luck this week.
Thank you.
You're the man. Polylift Concrete Lifting and Piering. That's the one I forget. Those guys also hooking you up with Dishin with Dev.